There's an abundance of research in the top journals that show that this amazingly simple approach is very effective. And if you compare this, which has now been studied and used 7 times in the Middle East to basically stop war violence, and has been very carefully studied in research, believe it or not, there is nothing else as of today that has been shown to be as effective at preventing and stopping war than this, I'd say, very foundational influence of increasing peace in the society.
So the hypothesis here is if you have a small number, a relatively small percentage of a population meditating, transcending, experiencing that deep calm within themselves through a mechanism that Dr. Hagelin, as a quantum physicist, can explain better than I, just as you could say violence begets violence, through this meditation practice, enough people, peace can beget peace.
What happens is you don't actually have to get the potential terrorists involved in meditation, which would be very good if you could, but I don't think they're going to be inclined to do it. If you can just get people in society, embedded groups, individuals is fine. Groups have more power in this respect. To meditate, the society itself settles, and the support for these individual terrorists dries up, and the whole society starts to behave differently. This was done 7 times in the Middle East, and what happened was not only did war deaths and war injuries and level of fighting drop significantly, but the progress towards peace among the rival factions, the negotiated truces, started to bear fruit, and they lasted. Historically, they don't last very long if it's just a Band-Aid approach that doesn't address the underlying cause of violence. Basically, though, what you can do, it's pretty easy to do, it's been done many times by many different scientific groups. You can actually train a group in a very powerful stress-reducing technology of TM, pretty easily, of course. And you can do that, for example, in the middle of Lebanon during the peak of the Lebanon War. It only took several hundred to start to notice an effect. But scientifically, you create the group, you remove the group. You create the group, you remove the group. You have them there for 2 days, they're gone for 3. You have them back, and you watch the level of war fighting, war deaths, war injuries, rise and fall in very strong correlation to the number of people who are creating peace and dissolving stress in the collective consciousness. When you've published 40 or 50 studies like that, you end up building up evidence that is really beyond irrefutable. There's never been an approach that has been studied as carefully and has been demonstrated to be so powerful. The effects can actually be felt very, very soon. And as Bob said, you can't just do that. But everything that we do conventionally, which is trying to find agreement and negotiated settlements, starts to work when the attitude of the leaders and the people starts to shift.
And I also want to make one more point, and that is what Dr. Hagelin is saying. This is studies published in peer-reviewed journals. This isn't nonsense. And I'm very passionate, and we've talked about this, about peace and the need to look outside the box, because we all now know conventional approaches do not, and it just takes one person, whether a wealthy person who could say, let's do this. It's a fraction of what we're spending, like in a minute, in combat to do what we're doing. And if it does work, it can change the world.